And we're back with another video. This is going to be video number 6 of the fantasy football season. And we're going to be discussing week 9 and week 8 today. And we're going to just kind of act like the last video was shot because I'm not going to do 2 weeks worth in one video here. So we're just going to kind of skip over that. So we are going to talk about the standings here real quick. Jude is beating me 15-9. Me and him tied last week, so the deficit didn't get any bigger. So here in the standings now, we are in week 9. There are 5 weeks left after this week of the regular season. So 5 more games after this week. Sherry's still in the lead at 6-2. The Detonator is right behind her at 1 game behind at 5-3. I am going to be in 3rd place because I have the most points scored in the league again. And let's see. So it's me, Bill, Jeff, Gina, and Scott all tied at 4-4. And Tomahawk and Josh and Arashikage are all 3-5. So that's how that worked out. Let's see the points for now. So I don't know if everybody realizes why I keep doing the points for, but the points for are going to determine if you have a record that is tied with someone else. So say that me, Bill, Jeff, Gina, and Scott right now. So we are all tied at 4-4. Say it's the end of the season. We're all tied at 4-4. We don't know who's really ahead because we have the same record. So the tiebreaker, meaning that whoever has the most of this is going to be, out of us 4, is going to be in 3rd place and 4th place, 5th place, and go from there. So points for me, I am at 891, which is in the lead. The next one is going to be Bill at 888. So it would be me, and then, so I would be in 3rd, Bill would be in 4th. Looks like Jeff is probably in 5th at 809. Or no, Tomahawk is, but he's further down, so he's not in this figuring. But Tomahawk is 3rd in the league in points for. So if he got tied with, if there was a tie between those 3 at the end of the league, like Dwayne, Josh, and Kirk, right now Dwayne would have the advantage, and he would go ahead and go, into the playoffs or go into whatever they're fighting for in that area. So. Yeah, right now I took the lead over again last week. So let's talk about that, actually. Let's talk about what happened last week. So week 8. All right. So first off here, me and Gina played each other. And I had a very good week, which was kind of surprising to me. But Joe Burrow, maybe he's back. I don't know. It would be amazing if he was for me. He ended up getting 33 points. McCaffrey came through with a couple touchdowns, 23 points. I got to get Foreman out of my lineup. His stuff is done with Roshan Johnson and Herbert being back. He's done. All right, and then. Tyreek did it for me again, almost 20. Devontae Smith actually did something. If Devontae Smith and Joe Burrow are going for me, then my team's going to be really well. And then I also, whoever picked up Javonte Williams, thank you, or whoever dropped him, thank you. I picked him up, and looks like he is on the way up. 15 points, a touchdown this week. That was awesome. And then for Gina on the other side, Tua had a good game, 30 points, but his longest touchdown was to my boy Reek. That's kind of what, if you play the best wide receiver for somebody's starting quarterback, most of the time you are going to take away points from that quarterback. So that worked out for me. Tony Pollard had a I'd say it's a terrible game with 5 points. James Cook, not great, 7 points. Neither of them met their projection, not even close. Cooper Kupp and Puka both were under their projections. The Rams just had a bad week. And then George Kittle had a good week, 15 for Gina, and Derrick Henry, 13. Decent. Her Lions defense went off for 16 points, but what cost her the week was Puka and Cooper and her 2 running backs. So that's that won me the week. I also scored 140, which is second in the league this year so far. Dwayne has the number 1 score so far. I believe it was 154. But we'll move on here. So Dwayne versus Scott. Scott, I remember this game. That was so crazy. I can't believe that Jared Goff could not score 3 points in the last 2 quarters. I was watching that, and I thought I thought Dwayne had it for sure, but somehow Goff just did nothing for 2 quarters. I'm sure that Dwayne was not happy. So then Pacheco did next to nothing with almost 4 points. Raheem Mostert didn't meet his projection either. Nico Collins had a terrible week. DeAndre Hopkins went off. Dwayne wouldn't even had a chance if it wasn't for DeAndre Hopkins scoring 35. Maybe he's actually worse something now with Will Levis, and Kelsey had a down week too. So, yeah, it's DeAndre Hopkins almost saved his week, and then Jared Goff had to ruin it because Scott had CeeDee Lamb go for 30. He had Terry McLaurin go for 12. He had Mark Andrews go for 10. Eckler went for 16. And he needs to get rid of Trevor Lawrence. All right. Next game. Josh. It was Josh versus Jeff. And Jeff ended up winning by 2 points. Lamar Jackson did not do well, didn't meet his projection for Jeff. Saquon actually had an okay game. Swift had an okay game. Olave didn't do hardly anything. Same thing for Rice. I guess it really, for Jeff, it came down to Alvin Kamara. And, man, just a low-scoring affair between these two here. Alvin Kamara had a good game. That's about all I can say for Jeff's team. I guess at least Saquon's back and doing something for him. On the other side, though, Lamar Jackson beat C.J. Stroud. Saquon beat, Jonathan Taylor. Gus Edwards actually played a good game, which that's not going to last. But at least he was there for Josh this week. Stephon didn't do much. Jordan Addison has a good game with Jefferson being out, which is going to be interesting now that Kirk Cousins is injured. Jordan Addison's points are going to go down, I imagine. Higbee had a tight end type game. And then the Eagles defense went -2 against Washington. That's terrible. So Jeff won by 2 points. It was just not a great matchup to watch there. All right, so on to Kirk versus Todd, and Kirk pulled it out by 6 points there. Jalen Hurts almost went for 40. Bijan went for 12. Yeah. Chris Godwin actually showed up for a game, went for 12, and Jamar Chase went for 16, thanks to my boy Burrow being back into form. On the other side, Herbert went for 30. A.J. Brown, he set a record, I believe, for most 125-yard games in a row or something like that. He got 26 points, but just was not enough for Todd here to pull it out. Jalen Hurts scoring 40. Put him behind the 8 ball too far. Let's see if Todd could have done anything else here to bring him up. No, not really. Well, I guess he could have played Cam Akers, but he wouldn't have done that. So, yeah, he made the moves here. Nothing I would have done differently. All right, and then we had Bill versus Sherry. And Bill ended up beating her on Monday night. That was interesting. Patrick Mahomes did nothing for Sherry this week, which is a nice change. Etienne did well. Sherry she still didn't have a bad week. Etienne did well. Waddle almost got 20. So Mike Evans almost got 10. So she didn't. 113. That's going to win a lot of weeks, but not this week. Josh Allen went for 35. Jahmyr Gibbs, without Montgomery in there, he went for 25. Hopefully, when Montgomery takes back, he comes back and takes over that field again because I need him. Brees Hall and T.J. Hawkinson both had good games. So Bill took down first place there. All right, let's move on to this week. I always forget how to get there. Scoreboard, maybe? Yes. All right. So, starting out here, we got me and Joshy. I have a lot of buys this week. So I'm kind of putting a patchwork lineup here together. That's what I'm looking for. McCaffrey's out. Montgomery is on a bye, and he's injured. Javonte Williams, a new guy I picked up, is out. So, yeah, it's. I think it would be a tough week for me, but Najee Harris already did something, which is nice. He got this top score of the year with 13. I can't believe I actually played him on the right week. And then I picked up Chuba Hubbard here, which I believe that Chuba's going to have a good week. He was just named starter over Miles Sanders in Carolina, and he's playing Indianapolis, which doesn't have a great defense. Hopefully Joe Burrow's back, and maybe Devontae Smith will continue there. And then on the other side, we have C.J. Stroud. She's been kind of struggling the last few games. Josh is still playing both Indianapolis running backs. Gus Edwards, which I believe Gus is going to have a more of a medium game this time. He's not going to go crazy again. George Pickens. I don't know if anybody watched that game on Thursday, but George Pickens, me and Josh was talking trash about how many touchdowns George Pickens was going to have because Najee got a touchdown in the first quarter. And I was telling him that it wasn't going to happen. And then he caught a touchdown, but he had all kinds of room to get both feet in, and he stepped out of bounds. And then he went on to lose the 2 yards that he had and actually went for negative 0.1, which is very, very rare for a wide receiver. And I don't know if I've ever actually seen that or not. So that's really rough for Juice. Let's see. So he's got C.J. Stroud starting, Zach Moss. I'm going to give it to me this week between me and Josh. I don't care for his team this week. I mean, I don't know if he could really do anything better, but he's just having a rough year with the way the Indianapolis running back field is, and Justin Fields getting hurt and all that stuff. So tough year for Josh. All right, moving on here. We got Jeff versus Scott. And Scott let's see if he took my advice or if, no, Trevor Lawrence just on a bye. So Scott's probably not even watching these anyway. He's got Sam Howell in this week against New England, which New England's a good defense. That might be rough. And then his top running back, Eckler, is playing a very good defense in the Jets. Jerome Ford could have a good game against Arizona. CeeDee Lamb's going to do what he's going to do. And then he's got the Browns going. I bet he'll get 15, 16, 17 points for the Browns defense this week going against Arizona. On the other side, we got Lamar Jackson for Jeff, Saquon, Swift, Olave. Deontay Johnson actually had a good game. Deontay Johnson, I believe, he caught his first touchdown in, 17, about 23 weeks. He finally got a touchdown. He didn't have a touchdown all last year and this whole year. So I think it's got Dallas Goedert and Alvin Kamara there. I looked at this earlier and I figured out who I figured would win here. I'm gonna give it to Jeff just based on the matchups here because I do not like Sam Howell going against New England. I don't like Eckler going against the Jets. CeeDee Lamb against Philly. Mark Andrews against Seattle. There's a lot of matchups I don't care for there. Maybe for the matchups I might take Scott, but I like Saquon versus Las Vegas. Swift versus Dallas. That's probably gonna be a tough game, but Olave versus Chicago. He should go off. Kamara's going to kill Chicago. So, Jeff this week. All right, now we got Todd versus Dwayne. Jared Goff's on a bye, so Dwayne's got Baker Mayfield in there, Pacheco. So let's kind of take this one by one. I got Justin Herbert. Oh, Justin Herbert's playing the Jets, though. Yeah. Justin Herbert's Herbert. So him versus Mayfield, I'll give it to Herbert. Aaron Jones versus Pacheco. I think that's kind of a toss-up. Algier versus Mostert. I'd give that to Mostert. A.J. Brown versus Collins. It's going to be A.J. Brown there. Pittman should outplay Hopkins this week, and Hopkins already done. Travis Kelce is going to beat Gerald Everett. No chance there. DJ Moore is going to lose. I don't know. It might be close between Dillon and Moore there, depending. Because if Fields was in, I would just give it to Moore. That's a tight one. Let's see some matchups. Who's playing who here? Miami, Kansas City. I'm going to give it to Todd this week. It might be a mistake considering that his quarterback's going against the Jets, but I don't like Baker Mayfield. And Nico Collins has done next to nothing for like 3 weeks now. So A.J. Dillon, he's even less than Aaron Jones on the other side unless he gets a garbage touchdown or something. Yeah. Toddy this week. The T-O-double-D. All right. Sherry versus Kirk. Kobe. All right. Sherry versus Kirk here. So Patrick Mahomes is in Miami. He should do fine there. Jalen Hurts going against Dallas. Yeah. Jacobs versus Bijan. I don't know what happened to Bijan, but he hasn't been doing the best. Damian Pierce. Oh, Damian Pierce is out. Kirk. Got to find somebody. Throw in Joe Mixon. Yeah, just throw in Joe Mixon. I don't know why you got I guess you haven't made your moves yet. So he's not going to play Pierce this week, so it's going to be Joe Mixon there probably. I am going to give the nod to Sherry this week. As much as I need to catch up with her, I just don't think Kurt's got the team. You know what Bijan's going to do. Jacoby Myers just doesn't have a quarterback. Yeah. Oh, he's got the 49ers defense on a bye too. He doesn't even have another defense. Kirk needs to get with it. I think he's losing a little steam here. All right. So Sherry this week. All righty. So got Bill versus Gina. They both had a player play. Gina got the edge on that by 4 points there, but it's not that big of a lead. So let's look at the rest of it. Dak Prescott versus Josh Allen. Depending on which Dak Prescott shows up, that should be interesting. Tony Pollard hasn't been doing much. Breece Hall's doing well. Keenan Allen versus the Jets. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua both have Matthew Stafford out this week, so that's not good for them. For some reason, Bill is playing Demario Douglas, who I would think there's somebody better out there than that, but you do you. He did pick up good guy Jalen Warren this week. Did probably one of his top scorers of the year. So I'm going to go with Bill this week. I just don't like the matchups on Gina's team this week, especially with Stafford being out. We all know what happened last week whenever Cooper and Nacua didn't do well. Her team just kind of fell apart. James Cook, they just keep hiring people in Buffalo, and his job keeps dwindling. Yep, it's Bill for me this week there. All right. It is time for Jude's picks here. Jude?
Yeah.
Your turn.
I think that car 54 will beat Najee Twa. Also, Dad did not tell me to say that either. I think that Justin Kiss will beat Too Many Cooks. I think that Tomahawk will detonate the detonator. Again. Excuse me. I think that Outrageous will beat a Wreckage Clan. And I think that Hear My Team will beat Resort Queen Fan. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the first word.
It's Gina's team. It's Iroquois. It's a Indian tribe. Nicely done. I'm sorry I didn't get that on video. Jude just took a drink and spilled everything everywhere. All right, that's a good ending. We'll see ya.